So in my last video, a commenter had an idea of doing an inbox or just something where the viewers ask questions of me, and I thought, why not? That's a great idea. So I posted a community post, and I'm just going to answer a few of the questions that people had for me, and let's see what it is. The first question: how do you gain self-discipline and stick to your own schedules to complete your own work or projects? So this is something for me that I used to have an extremely hard time with. I think there's that quote that's like, you could play games or do something you like to do for like 5 hours, but studying or doing something like work is, for 15 minutes is like pulling teeth. It's like the hardest thing in the world to do and seems like it lasts forever. For me, honestly, the thing that changed, because again, like I said, I used to be someone that was a massive procrastinator, just didn't want to do what had to be done. I've flunked out of college before. I've, recently succeeded in college, thankfully, in the later years. But when I was younger, I did not have any self-discipline at all. And the real thing that changed for me is realizing two things. One, we don't have infinite time. You got to step up. You have to, if you want something, you have to go and get it. And the second thing is, you don't always get a second chance in life. It's not how the fucking world works. As much as, you want to think that that's how the world works, it's not how it is. Sometimes you do. But a lot of the times you have one opportunity and you really have to just grasp the opportunity. You got to ask yourself, do you want this? You said your work and projects. Is your work important enough to you? Are your projects important enough to you? If it is, then you have to step up and just suck it up and do it. Like, that's basically the thing it is. You have to be successful, you have to learn to love the stuff and do the stuff that people hate, because that's what's going to set you apart. So that's honestly my biggest thing. If it's something you want to do, realize you just have to fucking do it, and realize you might not get a second chance at this. So take the opportunity you have and make the most of it. Next we have, I want to change how I use what little free time I have, use it to be extra productive, such as studying more or working on side projects, but I keep falling back in unhealthy trends, like just watching random YouTube stuff. Do you know how to shift focus to avoid the distractions and find the balance between productivity and non-productivity in free time? This I could piggyback off of the last question. You have to ask yourself, is the productive stuff that you're trying to do worth it? Because I know a lot of people, there's something, the toxic productivity people, don't become one of those people. If you're watching like the Gary Vaynerchuks, where they're like, if you're not working 24/7, 365, you're a loser and you're wasting your time. Having non-productive free time is important. That's kind of, what your life's about, is having fun. But I would ask yourself, is the stuff you're doing that's, productive, which I'm not sure what you're trying to do, but if it's something you truly want to do, then you just have to set out an allotted time. Like maybe set an alarm on your free time. You're watching YouTube, have an alarm go off on your phone that tells you, hey, it's time to do the more productive stuff, and figure out if it's something you really want to do, because I wouldn't try to do too much of that. Like if you have way too much free time and you have shit that, you have to get done, do it. But that's honestly what I would do. I would set an alarm, try to really think about the hours you have, and just, try to split it up. Like, I would say a good thing is like 70-30. Do like 70% enjoy your free time, then 30% or whatever you want to balance it for productivity. The next one, favorite games and franchises. Oh boy, just off the top of my head, I guess I'll start with like the franchises. Obviously, I love Halo. I'll just put Nintendo as a whole, like Mario, Zelda, F-Zero, all that stuff. Just Nintendo as a whole, all their catalog is great. Gears of War, Call of Duty. I love college football, like NCAA. Call of Duty, Doom, Sonic. The OG PS2 platformers like Sly, Ratchet, and Jack. The Greek mythology God of War. I'm not a big fan of the new God of Wars, but the old hack and slash God of War is incredible. The Elder Scrolls, Tony Hawk, Persona, those are great. Those are just some franchises I can think of off the top of my head. Then my favorite games. Oh, man. Persona 5 Royal, obviously not counting Halos. And, Gears 2 is great. Persona 5 Royal. I love Hollow Knight. Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Chrono Trigger, Ocarina of Time, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, just to name a few. And, I love basically every type of game besides RTS games. Actually, another shout out, I just thought of it, Guitar Hero 2 and 3. Those are fantastic. Next up, what's the best workout for traps and shoulders? Also, have you ever heard of Halo, My Time, and Oni? I have not heard of that, so I'll look that up after I record this. I've not heard of that. But what's the best workout for traps and shoulders? So I actually do traps and shoulders on the same day, so that's perfect. My traps and shoulders workout is obviously you got to warm up those rotator cuffs on the cables with lightweight. I do heavy dumbbell shoulder press. I go to failure for 4 sets. Then I go into dumbbell lateral raises, 4 sets to failure. I use 25s, and then I burn out with that, and then go to 15-pound dumbbells. So I do that for 4 sets. Then I do some front lateral raises with dumbbells for 4 sets. I do the reverse pec deck for my rear delts. I absolutely love that exercise. And then, just because I want more side delt, I do cable side delt extensions, like lateral raises. And then for traps, I do regular dumbbell shrugs for 4 sets, heavy. And then another underrated one, if you have a Smith machine, put it at a 4 and put your chest on it and do shrugs on the Smith machine. They're called Kelso shrugs. If you want to look that up, that's what I do for traps and shoulders. So good luck with that, man. Hope you get the gains you want. Then keeping it with working out, I have 3 months to bench 225. I can currently bench 185. If I don't bench 225, my whole family dies. What do I do? You might be cooked, my man. That's a lot of weight to put up in 3 months. That's a lot. Like, if you could even raise up 10 pounds in a month, once you start getting there, that might not be doable. But if I were to give it some advice, I bench 280. That's my max bench press. I would do, number one, you got to eat your meals. I don't know how much you weigh. I have no idea with that. But you got to eat your fucking meals. Like, you got to eat big to lift big to get big. So eat a lot to put on some weight. Obviously not like shit. Eat a good breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some snacks in between. I would my chest day, I do heavy 4 sets of flat bench. I pyramid up to about as high as I can go, like maybe 10 pounds less than my max every day. And then I drop back down to 225 and do 4 sets of that to failure. And then I do incline Smith machine for 4 sets. I do dips. Then I do some assortment of flies or something like that. But what I would do if you really want to focus on raising your max, lift extremely heavy on bench so you're used to it. I would do static holds. Like, you bench 185. Just put 205 on the bar and just hold it. Because a lot of the time you can't get your max because your body's not used to holding that much weight. But if you hold way more and just hold it there up and then rack it, your body can get used to it. But that's my advice. Eat big, lift heavy as fuck. Make sure to also burn out the muscle of incline and stuff, but lift flat heavy. Good luck, man. Hope you get it. So next up, we have just the important stuff. How do you take your coffee? I like my coffee black. That's how I drink my coffee, and every once in a while I'll have a latte if I'm feeling fancy. Favorite Halo mission is 343 Guilty Spark from Halo Combat Evolved. That is my undisputed favorite level. I absolutely love the fucking level. Any game. Okay, that was for that. So that game. Then fried chicken, breaded or battered. I'll take battered fried chicken. Next up, Woods Gump. Are video game leaks ruining everything, specifically hype or anticipation? I don't know if leaks are necessarily ruining it. Now, there was that one big leak for that Wolverine game that Insomniac's making. Seeing that, I didn't like the way the gameplay looked, so that kind of ruined it for me. But in terms of hype or anticipation, I don't know if it's the leaks that are ruining it, but I think people announcing games far too early. Like, the new Elder Scrolls game. What was that fucking announced like 8 years ago at this point? Still nothing on it. So I think just game developers, announcing games too early is more ruining the hype or anticipation. But I guess leaks could be too. I think it's just the whole of people finding out about video games far too early and then people just lose interest in it. So that's what I think. What's your favorite Halo game? Now, Halo 1, 2, and 3 are tied as like my favorite video game of all time, each for different reasons. Like Halo 1, I adore the story. It's my favorite campaign. Multiplayer is very unique compared to the other Halos, which is why I picked it for this channel. Every once in a while, I'll throw some Halo 2 or 3 gameplay in there, but Halo 2, I think it's, the most fun multiplayer and, memories and just the coolest attitude. And Halo 3 is just the best overall package of everything. But if I had to really put a gun to my head, while I think Halo 3 is the best Halo game, just for my life, I think I made a video about this, talking about the Halo 2 days. My life was perfect around the Halo 2 time. The launch of it was special. Playing the multiplayer with, LANs, system links online for the first time, watching the competitive scene with like final boss and stuff. Halo 2 is my favorite Halo game. I basically guess what I'm saying. Just my life around that time was perfect, and I have the most fond memories of Halo 2. What are some Halo hot takes of yours? Some Halo hot takes. Oh boy. Halo Infinite. If it launched with the content it has now, obviously it has like a big cheating problem right now. If it launched with the content it has now, with better aiming, because for some reason the aiming is just terrible. I think the aim assist is just not right on it compared to the other games. It would be just as good as Halo Reach, if not a little bit better. It would be the 4th best Halo game behind Halo 1, 2, and 3, and 343 would have had their good Halo, but of course they can't launch the game the way it should, and we have what we have now. Some other hot takes. Honestly, I think the worst one is someone who's one of the biggest Halo fans. I don't know if this franchise is ever going to recover to the point that it needs to be. I don't think it's ever going to be as big as Call of Duty or Fortnite or any of the other like shooters we know today, or Siege or anything like that. Then the other one, I think it would be the best for Halo to be a multi-platform game. Like when I hear that Microsoft is releasing MCC and stuff on PlayStation 5, I think that is amazing. It's going to help the player count, and I think that's what's ultimately best for Halo moving forward. So I guess that's some of my hot takes. Hope that's good enough. I don't really have a whole lot of hot takes, to be honest. I think all the 343 games are not great. Basically like everyone else. Bungie Halo's the best. Drink a bottle of scotch and talk about the Halo TV show. No comment, really. I did not watch the Halo TV show. It looked like fucking dog shit the second I saw it. It's a travesty. Like, I don't understand why this game franchise just cannot catch a break. That show, who greenlit this? Like, how did you watch that and say, that's what we want right there? I don't get it. More Master Chief without his helmet on. I can't take it. It's fucking terrible. Excuse me, I'm sitting there like fucking burping while answering this. I'm about to throw up thinking about the Halo TV show. That's my comment on it. It's hot garbage and set the franchise back quite a bit because no one watched that show and said, I gotta play these games. What's the best random piece of advice you've ever heard? What bands do you listen to, and top 3 movies? So, best random piece of advice I've heard. I think honestly when someone told me that, I gotta stop giving a fuck what people think about me because everyone's just worried about themselves. That's the best thing. No one gives a fuck. They only care about themselves. And I realize that, and when I see people live their lives to impress other people, I just laugh because no one fucking cares. So just live for you, have fun, do what you want to do, and make the most of your life. What bands do I listen to? Blink-182, Green Day, My Chemical Romance. I sound like an emo person. 3 Days Grace, Linkin Park. Just a shitload of metal bands. Listen to a lot of SoundCloud edits in the gym. That's basically it. Top 3 movies. Oh, fuck. Empire Strikes Back. I'm not really a big fan of the new Star Wars movies, but Empire Strikes Back's fantastic. Blade Runner 2049 is fantastic. The 90s Ninja Turtles movie's awesome. Just to name a few. There's so many movies, and I didn't really think about it, but for sure, those few are movies that I love. But that was pretty fun to do. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, I'm probably going to do another one of these next couple weeks. You can leave it in the comments below. I'll do an inbox like once a month or something like that. Or maybe if I enjoy it more, who knows? I've enjoyed this quite a bit. Hopefully that answered all these questions. Hopefully from the first ones, I think the more important ones, that was, you know, some of my views on Halo and the working out. But hopefully for the people in the beginning of the video, you can find your self-discipline and self-motivation to solve those things you want to do. And thank you for submitting some questions and, you know, getting to know a little bit more about me. I'll see y'all next video, guys.